and welcome. I'm Melinda Achimami. Tonight, 4 people killed as 3 suicide bombers strike at the University of Maiduguri in the Borno state capital. Niger Delta youths and the military discuss ways of sustaining peace in the region. Commander of Operation Delta Safe asks for clarity on modular refineries. Police arrest couple for selling their child for 400,000 naira in Cross River State. And over 20 people killed and 11 others injured as bus falls off a cliff in southern Turkey. On business news tonight, oil price projected to improve on growing economic performance across Asia and Africa.
And on sports news tonight, Rafael Nadal ends a 7-game losing streak against Novak Djokovic with a crushing 6-2, 6-4 win at the Madrid Open.
We begin tonight with the bomb explosion that rocked the Borno state capital this morning, which left 4 people dead at the University of Maiduguri. 3 suicide bombers were said to have attempted to enter the Department of Works at the university. All of them died along with a security guard in the blast, which occurred at about 1:10 a.m. The information officer of the National Emergency Management Agency for Northeast Nigeria, Mr. Ibrahim Abdul, said the bodies of the dead were removed from the scene almost immediately. The incident occurred a week after Boko Haram swapped 82 Chibok schoolgirls for some of its commanders in custody of the Nigerian army, just as the group released a new video threatening attacks in the country. The Nigerian army has dismissed the warnings issued by Boko Haram members, describing it as a mere propaganda. A statement by the army spokesman, Brigadier General Sani Usman, explains that the terrorists have lost touch with current realities, and the comments are aimed at seeking relevance, so Nigerians should ignore it. He adds that the so-called commander was a direct beneficiary of the process that led to the release of the 82 Chibok schoolgirls. Meanwhile, in Borno State, troops of the Nigerian army say they have destroyed a fish smuggling ring used by the terrorists to fund their activities and killed 4 of their members, but 1 soldier died in the process. The announcement by the federal government to allow the building of modular refineries in the Niger Delta region has been received with joy in the area. However, the government may have to clarify some grey areas in the plan to avoid the seeming confusion surrounding the initiative. This came to the fore at a meeting between some youths and the leadership of the Joint Task Force in Yanagwa, the Bayelsa state capital.
Niger Delta youth leaders under the aegis of Niger Delta Youth Coalition for Peace and Progress in a meeting with the leadership of Operation Delta Safe in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State, South Nigeria. The meeting is called against the backdrop of the recent promise by the federal government to build modular refineries in oil-producing communities of the country. While pledging to work with the youth leaders to sustain the existing peace in the region, the commander of Operation Delta Safe wants the youth to desist from any act of complicity.
I saw in one of your demand that some companies they need to be proactive to employ the locals to guide their surveillance. We are equally seeing that the surveillance contractors are in complicity with vandalism.
We want the NNPC to liaise with the leadership of the Operation Delta Safe to review and reward the pipeline surveillance contract for effective and efficient policing of the pipelines.
After the meeting, the commander of Operation Delta Safe says there is a misconception in government's pronouncement and sets the record straight.
When the policy was announced, we believe that it was not properly conceptualized and it was being misinterpreted by the locals, and it became a challenge for us. I'm sure as the government continue to modulate on these policies, it will come to a time that the locals might be able to enjoy the policy.
In their remarks, the leaders of the youth in the region urged the federal government to grant amnesty to operators of illegal refineries.
We are asking the federal government to give pardon to those who are perpetrating that act so that it can be curtailed, so that that act of siphoning the country economy will be brought to a halt.
As the nation continues its drive towards increasing its refining capacity, there's the need for government to clarify its stance on the operation of modular refineries, as well as carry along relevant stakeholders.
Still on security matters, the Cross River State Police Command has arrested a couple for selling their child for 400,000 naira in Ikom local government area. While in Imo State, officers of the anti-kidnapping unit have picked up 7 suspects during a raid at a kidnappers' hideout in Owerri West local government area.
This is the Cross River State Police Command, where suspects numbering 30 are shown to the press. They were arrested in different parts of the state for various crimes. The only woman in their midst and her husband are both alleged to have sold their child for a sum of 400,000 naira. They are to be remanded in police custody while they wait for their day in court. Also, this security guard was arrested on the 3rd of May for allegedly defiling an 11-year-old child.
The police command is now poised and repositioned to tackle security challenges more with vigor than we hitherto had. In doing this, we want Cross Riverians to reciprocate these efforts by partnering with us, since security is a collective responsibility.
A legal practitioner suggests an attitudinal change amongst members of the society for these crimes to end.
We've had this defilement on the increase. We hear stories and tales every day, 4 years, 1 year, sometimes 6 months. Is so sickening, actually. But we have not had convictions, if any, maybe 1 or 2. And the reason is simple, that the parents of this victim, or the guardians as the case may be, are inhibited by religious, by cultural fear, religious sentiment, public ridicule and all that.
Elsewhere in Imo State, officers of the kidnapping unit of the State Police Command have raided kidnappers' hideouts located in thick forest in Avo community in Owerri West local government area.
We must interrogate them to know what are they, that time, what are they doing.
7 suspects were arrested and 3 of their victims rescued.
The Imo State Police Command, under the directives of the Commissioner of Police, will continue to mop up areas where suspects or where criminals are suspected to be hiding.
In all of these cases, the police lauded the contribution of members of the public who provide relevant information on the criminals and pray that such intelligence keep coming.
More cases of kidnapping, and this time from residents of riverine communities in Lagos State who are appealing to the government to provide adequate security to check this rise of this act in their areas. According to them, the act of kidnapping for ransom has now become a routine. Our next report takes a look at the security situation in the Lagos coastal communities.
At the southern border of Lagos State, Nigeria's commercial capital, lies the Atlantic Ocean, which is just one of the many water bodies around the state's landscape. 22% of its 3,577 square kilometers expanse is made up of lagoons and creeks. Ever since the government moved to end all forms of illegal bunkering and oil theft across the riverine areas, most of the suspected militants resorted to other criminal activities like kidnapping for ransom and armed robbery across the riverine community. According to the Lagos State Police Command's records for 2016, about 51 kidnap cases were documented, with Ijede in Ikorodu area of the state accounting for the highest incidents. They claim kidnapping is higher in areas with hidden waters, streams, and those with underwater oil pipelines. Riverine settlements like Imakun and Odeomi, both in Ogun State, and Ishe, Folu, Ashagun, and Lagos State, have been under siege. Suspected militants coming to the villages in commando style to wreak havoc, leaving death in their trail. A passenger boat drops by to pick travelers from Ishe in Lagos State to the Bokoda area in Ondo State. They travel for hours on waters linking villages and states. Ishe residents decry the spate of insecurity in the community and the absence of marine police. Ishawo, another community of Ikorodu in Lagos, shares borders with Ogun State at the Arepo end. The visit by the new Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Lagos and Ogun to the riverine community is timely, as suspected militants had earlier invaded the community, killing 4 policemen, an army captain and a civilian.
They were inside. The soldiers came to rescue them. So with that ammo tank, that's what they used to, at least to assist them out. So that process, that's where let's pass through this place, attack them there.
The security in the riverine area is not too bad. All security arrangements are being evaluated, assessed, and improved upon to ensure that there's total peace along the axis.
Then, this follow-up mop-up operation by the Joint Security Force and these local divers to clear out remnants of militants along Ishawo creeks where their makeshift abode was destroyed.
Federal government must do a lot in ensuring that both the formal and informal agencies, security agencies, are well trained and well equipped in order to cope up or manage the situation.
As security agencies redouble efforts to ensure that these communities are rid of the menace staring them in the face, it is important for the government to engage youths in programs that will keep them busy, away from criminal activities.
From security, we talk education now. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, is warning computer-based testing centers against cutting corners. The JAM registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, issued this warning after monitoring some centers in Abuja, adding that 5 centers are already being investigated for alleged shady deals.
Technology is reliable. And when you ask the question, why should there be no technology failure? To have technology failure is an exception. What is normal is for technology to work properly, and I think technology has worked properly. But when the other time it misperformed, we didn't like it, but that was an accident. Now we are enjoying the value of technology. I now have what is going on all over the country, and we are pleased about what is happening. We have the similar thing, but I won't tell you the center because the operation is still on. We had a similar thing that happened in Uromi last year, and Uromi was blacklisted and remained blacklisted. And there are 2 or 3 centers who are doing similar thing as we talk, and appropriate instructions have been given.
A policy will soon be adopted by the federal government to make it mandatory that for local consultants to be involved in government projects across the country. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, revealed this in Abuja when he hosted a delegation from the Public Relations Consultants Association of Nigeria, PRCAN. He explained that the policy, which was debated recently at the Federal Executive Council meeting, would ensure that even if foreign consultants are engaged, they have to come with Nigerian partners. In his words, and I quote, "When you involve your own consultants in your project, you are not just taking expert advice, you're also employing people who have already bought into the project, and we would appreciate the fact that the success of that project is the success of the country." End of quote. He said that once the policy is active, government ministries and agencies will begin to involve more local consultants. In part 2, after the break, politicians applaud the leadership qualities of the former military leader, General Ibrahim Babangida, at the marriage of his daughter in Minna, the Niger State capital. That's in a moment. Join us again.